Hi, and welcome to our final top 5 of the week for 2022. It's been a busy year for us, and thank you for allowing us to support your reading journey all through 2022. Let's get into this week's recommendations. First is a report from the United Nations Development Programme's Africa Borderland Center titled Promise, Peril and Resilience, Voices of Agropastoralists in Africa's Borderland Regions. The report zones in on agropastoralists whose way of life is a mixture of agriculture and livestock herding, and through direct testimonies of communities living within Africa's borderland regions, details their lived experiences around forced displacement, intensified climate change, and increased violence and conflict. These stories also give insight into the strategies they employ to overcome these challenges. Recommendations made to ensure sustainable development for borderland agropastoralists include 1. A sustained focus on providing basic services and improved access to water, electricity, livelihood opportunities, and security. 2. Placing communities and local actors at the core of interventions, recognizing that their improved services and governance must be built through community consultations. And 3rd, recognizing the mobility of agropastoralists as a sociocultural right and a socio-economic necessity in borderlands. Next is a report on clean energy transitions in the Greater Horn of Africa that recommends pathways to accelerate clean energy transitions and assesses energy trends across 8 countries in the Greater Horn of Africa region, including Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Uganda. It concludes that strong efforts on the ground, coupled with international financial support, can bring the region on track to reach full energy access, provide economic and employment opportunities, including for women and youth, and align with climate targets. My third recommendation looks at the relationship between e-commerce and mobile services in Central Africa. This publication spotlights the expansion of the digital economy in Central Africa, owing to the increase in mobile services, and identifies key areas where action is required to increase access to digital services in general and e-commerce services in particular, such as enhancing digital and financial inclusion and taking the right approach to data regulation. The report's final chapter looks at a vast array of opportunities for e-commerce services for Central African states if they fight infrastructure, macrostructural, and regulatory constraints. Number 4 is a handbook on gender mainstreaming for gender equality results that identifies gender mainstreaming as a core strategy for accelerating progress on gender equality. It also offers understanding of the gender mainstreaming strategy and the required gender-responsive policy and practice necessary for it to be implemented in different facets. To avoid ambiguity, it dedicates the first chapter to definitions of key terms including gender mainstreaming, gender equality, and gender responsiveness, and shares key mandates on mainstreaming for gender equality results. In succeeding chapters, the handbook discusses issues including principles and approaches underlying gender mainstreaming, gender analysis as an essential starting point in gender mainstreaming, managing for gender equality results, monitoring and evaluation for oversight of gender equality results. Finally, at number 5 is a recently released publication from UNCTAD titled Fostering Women Entrepreneurship in the Digital Economy, which shares insights from their 2019 to 2021 E-Trade for Women Advocates cohort. The publication points out that the digital entrepreneurship can be a powerful avenue for women's inclusion in the digital economy with new business opportunities, efficiency gains, and better access to markets and global value chains. Yet, women entrepreneurs are less represented in the digital economy in comparison to their male counterparts, especially in developing economies. This gap translates into missed economic opportunities and may aggravate existing gender inequalities. The paper also recognizes that the huge digital gender divide is an ebb to the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals 5, which is gender equality, and 8, which is decent work and economic growth. It shares some key facts and figures on the digital gender divide across the world. 1. Women and girls are underrepresented in scientific and technical disciplines in tertiary education. According to UNESCO, only 35% of global science, technology, engineering, and mathematics students are women in higher education. In 2020, 35% of men in Africa use the internet compared to 24% of women. That's it from me today. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful festive season and see you in 2023. Goodbye.